Next on the Rugby Odds, former NOLA Gold head coach Nate Osborne joins our panel with Major League Rugby insight, betting advice, laughs, and tasteful ball breaking.
I need a Rosetta Stone for stupid.
Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. And welcome back to the Rugby Odds 2022 Major League Rugby edition, starring WWE Hall of Famer and Fox Business analyst John Bradshaw Layfield, former NOLA Gold head coach Nate Osborne, and the gift to rugby and mankind, Gift Egbelu of the Gift Time Rugby Network. Guys, welcome. It's so exciting to see you guys again. John, you especially with your Monarch shirt on.
Black History Month, my favorite baseball player of all time, Satchel Paige. If that man would have been in the majors, he'd have broke every record. It would have been. He got in the majors when he was 47 years old. It bees that way sometime.
It bees that way.
He last pitched at 59 years old, John, arguably, because who knows how old he actually was.
He's the one that said, if you don't know how old you are, how old are you? Aristotle with a 100-mile-an-hour arm.
Aristotle with a 100-mile-an-hour arm, only on a rugby show. And moment of silence here as I introduce no longer Nate Osborne.
Right.
Nate Osborne. No longer Nate.
No longer Nate.
About the, you had a good run, though, as far as head coaches in a professional sport go. 4 years getting that team up and running.
What a terrible intro. That sucked. That was beyond bad. We got a Hall of Fame coach on our freaking show. This is a get of the century. And all you bring up is, well, we got some bad news about Nate. No, we don't. I brought my boomerang here just because we got Nate Osborne on.
Mate, absolutely.
I'm excited.
I like that intro better. That was awesome. Thank you, mate.
We kid with the no longer NOLA Nate Osborne thing. You are a respected man, Nathan Osborne. Okay, here we go. The way this is going to work, Nate, since you're the only one that knows anything about rugby here on this panel, you're going to give us a couple of sentences, and then we're going to pick the matches as per our Rugby Wrap-Up data mining team.
Yeah.
Right? So,
sounds right.
Brett.
What are we doing? Bitcoin now? You cryptocurrencying us, Matt?
Guys, first matchup of the season. We have the hometown Rugby ATL, the Attlers, hosting John's Old Glory DC, and it's going to be Atlanta -7. This is Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Nate, can you give us a little skinny on each of these teams that you might find interesting?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the coaching change in Atlanta is going to be a big one. I mean, Scott Lawrence is an unbelievable coach, unbelievable man. I mean, he took him to a championship game last year, to the final. I know Stevie Brett really well. I know Blake really well, and I know that they're going to do a good job, but late changes, can be one or two things for the players. The players can stand up and say they're going to back these boys and play for them, or they're going to have an excuse. And you don't want to go to any game with an excuse. To me, the question mark's over whether they can replace Robinson. That 9-10 combination that they had was, one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league at times. He kind of drove him around the field. He won the game off his own bat a few times. So whether they can replace him and whether they can keep big threats healthy, because when Threaten's healthy, he's the best player I've ever coached.
We're going to go around now and pick the games, and you'll pick in a minute. But let's go with John first, because we like to put John on the spot, especially when he's got to talk about Old Glory, and his neighbor is Paul Sheehy. Paul Sheehy, of course, of Paul Sheehy Auto Stores. And John, I am clearly torn here as I think of Old Glory, Paul Sheehy, and Chris Dunleavy every single day when I'm sitting in my brand new Volkswagen Taos, the 2022 Taos that I have in a great parking spot, so I never use it because I don't want to leave the spot. But go ahead, John. I know you're conflicted, and I know you're going to weasel out of picking Old Glory again, aren't you, John?
I wish it was a self-driving car that took you right to a wall. That'd be awesome. Boom! That'd be great.
It's a smart car. It doesn't do that.
I agree with Nate about a coaching change. But coaching changes are really status quo. They either work out very well or they have problems in the transition. But I think Atlanta is the better team here. You're getting off a start from a championship season last year, the championship game, and you got a DC team having to replace some players. I'm going with Atlanta -7.
All right. Gift?
Well, last year I rode this ATL train until it needed to get stopped through the Goldway. Thank you, Nate, for helping me on that both times. And, I think it was one thing that's really been pointed is that coaching change. Coaching change changes up not just what you're doing with the strategy, but how you go for your day-to-day, your players. But just like anything else, a great coach, and I know Scott Lawrence is a great coach, can set up a great system. And if you can just minimally stick to the system, you can hold up strong at least for another year. Old Glory, again, big changes when it comes to your players, and that's where it hurts the most. When you can't execute, it makes it the worst. I'm going to have to go with ATL, continuing their process from last year, taking the win at home.
All right. Okay, Gift. I am actually stunned because that was succinct and made sense. I just don't.
Yeah. Now you just jinxed it. Again, you do this, and then you jinx it. Now you deserve whatever happens. You deserve whatever happens.
Nate, what do you think about this one?
I actually think that Atlanta's going to win. I think Atlanta by 12, actually.
So I'm conflicted in this one for two reasons. A, because of the car that I
took a bribe.
Sheehy Auto Stores. And the new ownership group of Atlanta has reached out about maybe doing something production-wise with them. So I am really conflicted on this. But on the and I think
follow the money trail.
Go with the money. Go with the money.
Keep thinking, what would Steve Lewis do? What would Steve Lewis do?
That's right. That's right. Hey, you can buy integrity. Okay, go with the money.
Okay, so. That said, I think Old Glory is going to be underestimated by some teams. They got some healthy bodies back at least, and as you talked, Threaten is always a threat in the back line. Can carry a team, but although I think they're going to be plucky and always raise that flag of Old Glory, if you will, when they are on the pitch in competitive spirit, I think the ATL is the defending champion of the conference, and they have a lot of leaders in that locker room. I'm gonna minus the 7. All right, moving right along. The next matchup is Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and that is the debut of the Dallas Jackals going into Austin to play the Gilgronis, and the line there is Gilgronis minus 11. Nate, what can you tell us about these two teams?
Mate, I'm very impressed with what Austin's done over the last couple of years. I know just for a fact. NOLA trading Julian Dominguez, who I rate hugely as a rugby player and a man, just to get him. And then they got, on the other wing, they got Mooneyham, and then they got Marcel Bracky in, plus a huge chunk of the guys that they already had last year. And they're already taking a step forward. I know Sammy Harris down there is doing an unbelievable job. I think they're kind of a dark horse for me. I think the Dallas Jackals, it's hard to really know what they're going to be. 4 years behind everybody else, and really getting the players that other teams were letting go, which isn't always a bad thing because you can get some chips on the shoulders and those sort of things. And most of them are really good players that they got there. I know a lot of people talk about their squad being really weak, but I also see and look through their squad and think that they have some really good players and some guys that. Some older guys that can lead, and then some guys from around the league and from overseas that can, put them forward. But in saying that, I think they're probably a little bit undercooked, and I think that Austin is the team that I'm really keeping an eye on this year. I think that they're going to be really, really good this year.
This is real simple. Nate's right. You've got great players, you've got great coaches. One coach may not make it, you may get another coach, but it's not about that. Tampa Bay won a couple Super Bowls. They also lost about 2 straight seasons of their first games. Expansion teams don't do well in any sport. Austin has a great team. They are very physical. They play very well. They could have had probably 3 or 4 more wins last year if the ball bounces a little bit, especially early in the season. I think Austin beats them by 20 or more.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, take with a grain of salt what John says, because the Las Vegas Knights did go to the Stanley Cup Finals in their expansion year. So
that's
some expansion teams did well.
I was about to say LA Giltinis won it in their first year, but they also brought in 1,000 players that have played 100 caps for the All Blacks and World.
There we go.
Exactly. And how about the LA Giltinis winning the okay, thank you.
Hockey's not a sport.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, look, last year we had, it was interesting to watch Austin Gilgronis. They went from this horrible team the previous year to being the little brothers to LA, and that was where we stayed. It's reminded me of, and Matt, I think you'll appreciate this, watching Josh Allen rise up and then just falter whenever it matters, right? Buffalo, New York, Buffalo team.
He didn't falter. His defense faltered. And his coaching staff are not kicking the ball on the ground. Josh Allen didn't falter.
Faltered like that red zone offense. Boom. So with this awesome team, I think what I'm most interested to be able to see is if they're able to actually take it up the notch. And last year we saw them do it defensively. This year we want to see it offensively. In this specific game, like you guys have said already, Dallas is a new team. You know, shout out to Elaine Bassey. She's been doing this for a while. Might have just been called it, but she's been GMing Dallas for like at least 6 years now. So I do expect them to be able to do some damage over the course of time, but they also have the luckiest position to be where they have zero expectations. They're not overloaded of players. They're not trying to win one in the first year. They're just trying to get through, and any win that they get, any points that they score is just icing on the cake. So I look at Austin to take this game. Dallas is probably going to get 3 or 4 scores, but if Austin allows 4.4 tries by this team, I don't have a good expectation for Austin the rest of the season. So boom.
There was nothing boom about that.
That's 2 in a row. 2 in a row. I understood everything you said. That's 2 in a row. Well done.
All right. So Nate, you've already picked them by 25, the Gilgronis, and I'm going to be crazy here. And I said this on the preview, the Major League Rugby preview show with Power and Ray. You
can't quote yourself as a source. No, hell no. No, you can't do that. You can't say, as I said last week.
Matty can quote himself.
You can't do that.
Matty can quote himself. He's like an NFL wide receiver. Matty can quote himself, talking the third person. And Matty is picking. Matty is saying, "I'm picking Dallas."
You said last week.
I'm picking Dallas to lose by a lot. All right, moving right along. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. This is the last one before a commercial break. We got the Sabercats, the Houston Sabercats. John, another Texas team. It's the Sabercats hosting the LA Giltinis, but it's the Giltinis on the road that are laying 7. John, Nate, can you give us some input on these two squads before John implodes?
Yeah, mate. Houston, probably the most disappointing franchise in MLR. You know, they have their stadium, they have everything in place, and they just seem to every year lay eggs. They seem like they've brought in 150 South Africans.
How many South Africans does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I know. I know that their coach, Henry Meyer, is an unbelievable coach, obviously. But I know they had visa problems and they had other things going on. I think it's hard to really know what they're going to be. You know, I know that from inside, people I talk to and people around are saying that they're, really changing the way they're playing, and they're really focused on, hard hitting, maul it out, grind it out game. Where I think that LA is that team that you can get on the ropes, but they can also score 4 tries in 1 minute. So LA has brought back the majority of their guys. Matty Giddo, a kid that I grew up with in Queanbeyan, Australia, so from the same hometown. Good man who's coming back for his 150th year of rugby.
His body looks like he's 25 and off the cover.
He looks really good. And growing up, he was like so small and little when we were growing up, and then he just took off. And he's a great man, Matty. And I know that him and his family really enjoy LA, and that's why he's having another crack over here. I know he's been around the world. Adam Ashley Cooper stepping down is going to hurt a little bit, but I'm a huge fan of Billy Meeks at 12. I think he's going to be great. I know some of the guys that they've brought in are going to really help. LA is still the team to beat, even though Houston's probably improved and they've probably got some big South Africans. I think LA is still going to dust them.
John?
Houston's been a great franchise everywhere but on the field. They built a great stadium, they built a great academy. It's a great ownership group, good people down there, but they just haven't had success on the field, and I'm not sure why. They've got everything in place, but Giltinis are exactly the opposite. I mean, these guys are the cream of the crop they were last year. They end up getting beat in the championship game. But these guys, man, they travel well. When you can score like that, it's tough to beat a team like that, especially early, because you're going to have gaps at times early just through lapse of concentration, just being new to playing your first game. I'm going with Giltinis.
Gift.
I look at Houston to come out of this one strong, especially at home. Giltinis, I think, look, they won a championship. You got the super team as usual. But I think there's always a sluggish effort coming at the beginning of the season, especially when you have a little turnover, especially the Super Bowl and everything's there. You have all this going on in LA. LA's got too much happening. And I think the Sabercats have something to prove. I'm going to look for the Sabercats to actually beat the spread, lose the game, but beat the spread on this one.
Nate?
You know, talking about Matty Giddo from Queanbeyan, you got Robbie Coleman from Queanbeyan, Sam Windsor from Queanbeyan. You know, there's so many Queanbeyan boys from this little country town in Australia that are playing the MLR. I'm going to back Matty Giddo and my Queanbeyan boy, and they're going to win by 17.
But here's the thing, and that makes sense, but the rosters are subject to Omicron right up to the last moment. We don't know right now what if Gitto is going to play, for instance.
Yeah.
Right? They might. They have to manage minutes. What?
I do.
No secrets.
Yeah.
That's why we have him. That's why we have Nathan Osborne on here with us, ladies and gentlemen, for the inside stuff, the insights.
Matty Giddo will be out there and he'll tear them apart.
But the Sabercats, I've been going down to Houston for the National Collegiate Rugby stuff with the All-Stars and the championships. That facility is unbelievable. But one thing you do notice is the wind is unbelievable on that field. It's just constant, blowing back and forth.
That middle, yeah.
And the one guy that mastered that wind, Sam Windsor, is now playing in New York. So I think
Queanbeyan boy, mate. Queanbeyan boy.
There you go. There's another one. There's another plug for Australia. Oh boy, we're gonna have a lot of Australia plugs.
The same country town, mate. The same little country town, man.
What did you have for breakfast?
Known each other since we were this big.
Nate, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Vegemite toast, mate.
You can't get any more stereotypical than that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got this is going great, guys. But I'm being told we have to take a quick break. My pick is Giltinis -7. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Looking for your next vehicle? With Sheehy's Easy Search, choose from over 3,000 new and used vehicles. Shop, trade, or buy online or in store. We make it easy with our award-winning service.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
Been blind since I was 4, and I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste, and my beer's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
And we are back with Nate Osborne, John Layfield, and Gift Egbelu. I'm Matt McCarthy. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a moment of silence for this next match that Nate's going to tell us about, because it's none other than his former team, the NOLA Gold, versus the New England Free Jacks. In New Orleans, John. New Orleans! And it's NOLA -4. What can you tell us about these two teams? Not that you know anything about them, Nate.
All right, so, mate, I'll start with New Orleans. I think losing Kyle Bailey, Julian Dominguez, Holden Younger, those are the three big guys. But I think, adding like young, exciting players, like young American players, Harley Wheeler, Aaron Matthews, huge fans of those guys. And I've been fans of those guys since the All-American camps. And then Dev Ferris, bring back Damian Stevens. I think they're pretty solid in what they're doing. I think adding, what people forget is that they're going to get back. Robbie Coleman's back from injury. Nick Feeks is back from injury. JP Eloff is back from injury. So when people think that you lose one person, but you're gaining 5, they can fill that position. I think that's going to do well for the Gold. Kane Thompson, who took over as the head coach there, is a great man, a great coach. And, he might be the first ever head coach who has to step on the field, which would be amazing.
John, he would kick your ass, John. Kane Thompson would kick your ass. How about New England?
New England has new coaching staff, but I know they got in early, and I've heard really good things about the new coaching staff, and I think that they're really believing in what they're doing up there. I think that they were so close last year in so many games that they know they need to take a step. It's going to be one of those games where does New England, same as DC last year when we played them in the first round, do they come out firing and really play their best game in that first round because they're so excited to play for this new coach and do everything, or do the Gold, hold their water down at the gold mine, which is amazing. I think the Gold's going to win by 2 points.
I think there's 2 issues here. One, it's a long trip. They're flying commercial, they're not flying private. I don't think they are. And also the cold in New England, the New Jacks. And I said New Jacks, not the Free Jacks. I said New Jacks. Get over it. I don't think they have an indoor facility. I was asking earlier, they have an indoor weight room facility. It was a snowstorm of the century last week in Boston. So if they're not training out, if they don't have an indoor training facility, they're going to go down to New Orleans where it's going to be nice and warm. And those guys with last year just ate up people in the scrum. Good technical team. And I think they have jet lag. I think they also have a problem with the first game of the year, having not been able to train outdoors. I'm going with Nolans in the gold mine, Bourbon Street, Marie Laveau, Voodoo.
Gift, you got the gold background, so I know what you're. What do we have to ask Gift here? Gift,
let's go Gift 4 for 4, mate. 4 for 4.
New Orleans worked the Free Jacks last year. It was the first game was annoying, but the second game that disrupted their ability to go to the playoffs was perfect. And I think it continues as such because systems have maintained. So look at this, New Orleans taking this for the win and blowing out the point differential on this one in the gold mine that I hopefully will get to be there.
Good points, but I think you guys are all missing the boat here. I mean, sometimes you have to bet with your heart. And New Orleans fired my man Nate. So I'm going with New England. Next one up, we've got the San Diego Legion. San Diego hosting the Utah Warriors, the Mountain Men. Gift. This is a tough match to pick. -3 at the Sports Deck in San Diego. They're not playing at Torero Stadium any longer. They're playing on top of a parking garage. But from what I understand, it's grass. And Nate, can you tell us anything briefly about these two teams?
I'm hearing good things about the new coaching staff. I'm hearing that they're really enjoying some of the different things that those guys are bringing to the table. And I think that, when you've got guys that have played, 100 caps for England, captain England, you got like Manona, who's one of the best centres in the rugby's ever had. I think that sometimes that can get lost if they're not enjoying it. And what I hear is that everyone's enjoying it down there, and I think that they're going to be really hard to beat. Utah, really fun to watch. Really good team. Mikey Teo, Mika Cruz. Anytime you even have the ball in their hands, you got to stand up and hold your breath because they're going to do something with it.
Who's going to play 9?
That's probably their biggest problem. I think losing their 9s. I thought Michael Basker, who I had down in New Orleans for the first couple of years, who was a winger when he got here, and we turned him into a 9, and then he took off. Unbelievable man, unbelievable player, and then they lose their 9s. It's going to be a question mark.
And John, it's Coach of the Year Sean Pittman of the Utah Warriors, so maybe that's a factor. But who do you got in this one? It's a tight spread. It's -3, so that old home team gets the 3.
Yeah, very famous family. He's the cousin of Brad Pittman, the actor.
Correct.
Very few people know that. But I want to tell you something about mountains. You see, I was up in Alaska and in the mountains, and I found this.
Yeah.
And when I found it, I asked the guy, I said, "What is this?" He said, "That's a walrus penis." And I don't know if it actually is or not. I heard it was. I did not get this from the Walrus, okay? But I think the Walrus froze.
There's one angry walrus flopping around someplace.
The angry Walrus right now in Alaska because the Walrus is missing this, which I would too. The Walrus froze to death. Mountains are cold. I love Matthew Tail. I love watching him in the sevens, but it's 21 degrees right now in the mountains of Utah. And they're going down to San Diego. These guys aren't practicing. I don't know what. I've heard they had them practicing. They got the snowmobiles moving. It's freezing cold. I just think it's they're going down there. They're going to face a better conditioned team. San Diego came on strong late in the year. And the Walrus Penis is enough story to tell you that San Diego is going to win this game against the Mountain People and Brad Pittman's cousin.
Wow. Okay. All right. We got the team on the road getting the win with the Walrus Penis gift. How do you follow that?
Even with this situation, I think it's really interesting because we did see San Diego, who constantly seems to always have a team that's loaded. I mean, you got Central Africa on that team, but I don't trust them. It's a winter game early in the season. Look at Warriors to actually beat San Diego. And San Diego disappointing because it's a little too sleepy in that town. It's too sleepy in that town.
All right, Nate, will this 1883 type style of travel from the mountains of Utah to San Diego drain the Warriors too much to win this match?
Utah's going to be a little down this year for some reason. I feel like they're going to struggle to get back up to where they were last year. I think they pulled out a lot of games in the last second. And I know from experience, NOLA Gold did the same thing in year two where we were scoring last second tries, and you just always expect it. And when it doesn't happen, it starts to wear on you a little bit. So I'm going to go San Diego by 8.
I think Rob Shaw's leadership, the fact that he really wants to do well in San Diego and show what he's worth, and he's just having fun again, kind of playing rugby. I think him and these other leaders, if they're on the pitch, they're going to win. So on paper, I'm going with San Diego minus that 3. That's 5 p.m. Sunday Eastern time. And then the final match of the weekend is the Seattle Seawolves hosting the Toronto Arrows. Toronto Arrows and Seattle minus 2. This is another tough one, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, they got rid of a few guys. I know that NOLA picked up the guys they got rid of because I was huge fans of those guys, Dev Ferris and Aaron Matthews. But I know they brought a lot of guys in. Some that I don't know, but Lepetti, the 12 that they drafted, proved within a week after being drafted that he stepped up with the Eagles, and unbelievable player, get him going forward. Toronto, picking up Kyle Bailey, who I know personally and have worked with personally, I know that's going to be huge for them because I know how good of a leader he is and how tough he is as a man. And how he'll drive them forward. But I mean, losing Lesage is tough for them. I don't know where they're going to kind of replace that.
What's your pick here?
I think Seattle's going to win this one. Toronto, unless things have changed, and because going into the first game, it's hard to know. They rely on Malcolm's boot. And I think that Seattle's just going to pin him in the corner and score tries.
I think Seattle wins this off home field advantage alone. I think they're going to play very well at home start of the game.
I think in this situation, and we saw it last year, Toronto was actually a pretty good team in their moments. They still have the Argentinians. They still have a lot of their power players. And that was a big key issue for it. It was just stability for them. Seattle, I don't know what to expect from them. Yes, best home crowd. They're almost like Bizarro Houston. They have
Houston.
They have like the great home crowd. They've done everything. They've seen success. But I think at the same time, I think people caught up with them. Look for Toronto to win this one. This will be maybe the one and only time I root for Canada in any situation.
Wow.
Ever.
Wait, I thought John was anti-Canada, but you are. Some information that I didn't release here is I believe.
Of course you did.
Believe that Toronto has been training in Vancouver because Ontario was going wacky with Omicron. So they don't have much of a trip here. So is Kyle Bailey, who is a man amongst men, going to replace? He's captain material coming in from your team, New Orleans, to go back to Canada, go home.
Great man.
Great man, force of nature. They lost Lesage. He's in L.A. sunning himself. But that Seattle crowd, I've been there. And you got Broccoli Man, you got CJ, you got Rucky the Seawolf, you got Tony Ridnell. I mean, you got a cast of characters up there. You got great beer. They got a brewery. They got the deal with the brewery. It's all good. If you haven't been there for a rugby match, you got to go. And Adrian Balfour, one of the owners, is going to pester me and text if I don't pick Seattle. So I'm going to go with Seattle. Seattle, John. Seattle. Yeah. Bizarro Houston. And there you have it, guys. It's our first The Rugby Odds of 2022. I want to thank Mr. Nathan Osborne, Mr. Gift Egbelu, and reluctantly John Bradshaw Layfield with his walrus penis. On that note, I'm Matt McCarthy. Thank you for tuning in, and please check out our other shows, including our college rugby wrap-up, soup to nuts men's and women's college coverage, and our Major League Rugby preview and recap show. And please sign up for our newsletter, and please, please, please sign up for our Rugby Wrap-Up American Red Cross blood donor team. They need blood now more than ever.